Good night. This is the Cutting Edge on RFM. You're listening to Winston Hubert McIntosh. Today is Winston Hubert McIntosh Earth Day. And we're celebrating it with music. We can't do nothing else more than celebrate it with music. Because music was in life. It's attaching the ska days, you know, say the Wailers is a group in Jamaica we cover them song more than any other group. Peter Tosh cover him song them more than any other individual. I mean, really, like all the tune now. It's about 4 times sing over that tune, you know. Yeah, this is the original, but I do about 4 times sing over that tune. So I watched the last debate a while ago with Donald Trump and Hilary Clinton. And you know, say, really and truly, the debate kind of get away because I don't see none of them really get any new followers. But concurring with my executive political friend, who are, you know, my political friend, you know, until I say, me and her political relationship more important than RFM. So, when I talking to her on the phone, she have to know, say, okay, what should I do for RFM? We have to really discuss what is happening. So, we have decided that Trump never win the election. Sorry, not never win the election, never win the debate. And we also recognize one serious thing we're going to talk about. And it really make us aspiration against Ronald Reagan. Now you know how these Republicans, Ronald Reagan is like the god of the Republican Party, you know. So when Trump decides why him did always disagree with Ronald Reagan on a certain topic and him now can fix it. You know, say, them now let go after that tomorrow. Them now let go after that tomorrow at all. Believe you me. But him go good. Him go good. Yeah, him go good, but I don't think him go good enough for draw anybody else. You know, who is with Trump will be with Trump tomorrow. And who is with Hilary will be with Hilary tomorrow. I think them should have delved more into this foundation thing though. You know, I don't know how I see the things when it's weird because I watch them and I realize some things with them should have bring up and I not hear them I bring it up. And I said, then how me get them information there? How them now bring up this very serious information? So we have 2 tape I go play, you know. Believe you me, I go play 2 tape right in the heart of the discussion of Peter Tosh or so now because we can't let go and fight. We want to play a tape, a little clip, it's not even a whole thing, because we never play the whole line, by Farrakhan, Louis Farrakhan have some serious indictment against Hilary Clinton. So we want to play a little snip of her talk about Hilary Clinton, and then another snip of her talk about Obama relationship with the black community, especially in Chicago. And then we're going to play a longer one now about Hilary Clinton. So what I say to you, you can't miss it, you know. You don't want to miss these things, you know. Believe you me, because I don't know how I not hear certain things I bring up when I sit on my yard and I figure out. It's like me I put myself in the place as what are them I say, all right, because you know, if them lick that, this is what I say. And when me look on how them attack, I mean I say, but when Hilary said that Trump should have said this, but I don't hear bring it up. And then it's like the moderator Asperan, obviously him is a Republican, because I think he work for Fox. The last 2 is ironical that the last 2 was CNN and one was gay and one was a woman. Them people are not easy, you know. They put a gay man, which is Anderson Cooper, and a woman in front of Donald Trump. And if it go out good still, if it really go out good, but today now them put a fax man in front of him. And this fax man has spur man still, you know. And things we not forget. Things we might forget, the fax man I remind him, say, oh, this is where you should have bring up. But I I don't know why did I say, it's like I put myself when I say, but this him should have bring up and that him should have bring up, and I don't hear him bring it up. So I don't know. Maybe them should have made me be a surrogate. Maybe should have made me a surrogate for these people, because I do understand what I hear certain things that talk about in this debate. You know how much WikiLeaks thing come out since them catch him and talk on the bus about Hilary. I mean, no hear them bring up nothing about it. I don't understand them something. But why if him goes cook? Him goes cook. Believe you me, something I forgot, and then him go say him no know. The man ask if I go accept the outcome of the election. Him say him go wait and see. You know them thing there. Them go and latch on that. Watch and see what got plan tomorrow past CNN. When them done latch on that man and play back the tape and loop it. Because CNN have a way of a loop tape. They don't believe you me. But life continue. Life continue. This is the cutting edge on RFM. This is the cutting edge. You know, the Nation of Islam organization is celebrating the Million Man March. And you know, last week we tell you that they was having a telecast of things that was happening for that celebration. Well, recently, Louis Farrakhan gave a speech. I was going to just play a little clip. Just a little clip of what Farrakhan say. We want to play 2 clips as a matter of fact. Why listen to this? Believe you me.
How many of you voting for Hilary? You don't have to raise your hands. I do not blame you for wanting a female president. But that's a wicked woman. Now, listen, you can vote for her, but vote for her with knowledge. She can be sweet, but so can you. And you know when you're sweet but playing a game. All of a sudden she know about Trayvon Martin. All of a sudden. The boy been dead nearly 2 years. Now she's talking about him like she met the mother and these white people, this is Satan. And you fall for that crap. Most of you that went to jail for having a little blunt in your pocket, they arranged that. The Clintons. Mass incarceration came about under the Clintons. Don't forget that. They call my young gangbangers super predators. And Black Lives Matter put it to her. She didn't know how to handle that. Call you a super predator that has no conscience, no sensitivity. Like you a dog, you an animal. We got to bring you to heel. You, my young brothers. This is what she said about you. And she didn't just say it. It became law and policy of the U.S. government under Bill Clinton and her wife, his wife, and now she's apologizing. But apologizing can't bring back the broken families. Apologizing can't bring back those that have been destroyed in prison life. Apologizing she, in her person, orchestrated the destruction of Libya and the killing of Muammar Gaddafi. Gaddafi was my friend. He was my brother. She lied. He was going to kill all his people. No, he wasn't. He was just going to kill those rebels that America seized on their dissatisfaction, made a counter-revolutionary move, and then used it to bring NATO in to bomb and destroy his air defense, and then move to kill him. Now Libya is a failed state. All the refugees fleeing out of Syria, fleeing out of Libya, fleeing out of North Africa is because of policies of the government of the United States of America and her specifically. Now, when they release all those emails that they haven't released yet, they'll show you how she maneuvered our president. And maybe you won't think so well of her when you see how she talked to him. White people don't talk to black people. I don't give a damn what position you got, like you the boss. They always talk to you like they're the boss. Well, the only way you'll ever be the boss if you come and submit to Allah and follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and come on and unite with me.
When I listen to people talk, most of the people them when me hear attack, them go off for what CNN say, but and then I hear some Jamaican I say, well, you have to deal with lesser of the two evil. My question is, which one of them is lesser of the two evil? That is my question. Which one of them is the lesser of the two evil?
You've been in that party a long time. Answer me. What did you get? You got a president. He's worried about his legacy. Well, you want Hilary to get in to protect your legacy because Trump said the minute he get in, he's going to reverse the Affordable Care Act. Because that's your signature achievement. To show you how hateful the enemy is, he hates that you achieved what you did achieve. So he said, I'm going to tear it up when I get in. So he don't want his legacy destroyed. Mr. President, let the man do if he get in what he wants. Because he's not destroying your legacy. If your legacy is bound up in an Affordable Care Act that only affects a few million people and they're trying to make it really difficult for those of us who signed up, that's not your legacy. But I just want to tell you, Mr. President, you from Chicago and so am I. I go out in the street with the people. I visited the worst neighborhoods. I talked to the gangs. And while I was out there talking to them, they said, you know, Farrakhan, the president ain't never come. Could you get him to come and look after us? There's your legacy, Mr. President. It's in the street with your suffering people, Mr. President. And if you can't go and see about them, then don't worry about your legacy. Because the white people that you've served so well, they'll preserve your legacy. The hell they will. But you didn't earn your legacy with us. We put you there. You fought for the rights of gay people. You fought for the rights of this people and that people. You fight for Israel. Your people are suffering and dying in the streets. That's where your legacy is. You failed to do what should have been done, but it's never too late. You, like Jimmy Carter, can be a better president after you leave the restrictions of your White House and come on back to the hood and start organizing like you did. And with your influence all over the world, let's make a new and better people. And from us, if it's Allah's will, we can make a new and better America. Thank you for listening, and may Allah bless you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Continent with Mutabaruka. We are listening to our laments. You know here, continent, the end, the end.
The direct reason why I did that start as a solo artist. I find myself getting inspiration through the divine inspirator who is Jah, seeing Rastafari, and he's the divine inspirator. Well, I get a lot of inspirations, and each inspiration is a song. See, and when I make a song, for years I've been making songs, and it seems true. Well, Bob is the leader of the group then, and he would like, but I don't know, maybe, I don't know what's going on within him, but he just like to make his tune and sing his song, see? And I make tunes, but for the years that I've been singing, but just through I love music, and I love harmony, see, that keeping the background harmony, and we've been doing that for years, and we know it well, me and Bonnie, see, and we know it quite well, so we just find ourselves love the harmony, that we just keep on doing harmony and sing. But it comes a stage that, it reaches a stage that getting inspiration now, when you get inspiration, you make a nice sound and check a stop. It comes like the inspirations are being wasted, because just so we just involved in harmony and just pure harmony, it comes like, well, we just get an idea, sing it, and it sounds nice today, and we mention so well. I mean, may make mention so well. Alright, well, I record this tune. We'll check us out. The tune is not recorded. It is always said that we'll just do it a couple of weeks, or maybe next week we'll do it. It just go on that the tune is not recorded. I make many tunes and just go by the same way, because harmony is my thing. It just appears as if, well, it's just harmony, I must say, but I get inspiration and I have to manifest the works of my inspiration, you see. Well, I find some of my inspiration is very valuable and it's message to the people. And if I get inspiration which is message to the people, I don't mean one people, you see, the whole world, irrespective of what category of person you are, you see, my message is to you, just learn what's going on. And when I get them inspiration, they come like, I don't pay no mind. It's not a matter of I don't pay no mind, but it's, well, Bob is the leader. And he doesn't want no one to come before him doing an next lead, according to my point of view. And we were singing together, building a foundation for Trinity. You see, Trinity. All the years we've been doing that. To me, it appears as if it was one. But after it reached these stages now, I said that it wasn't a trinity of one. It was just an individualization. Ever since we began to record with Island Record, you see, from record the first 12 pieces, I started to recognize that. I said, well, right now is the time for me to manifest my works, because I've written many songs the years gone by, and just all I do is keep them up here.
Yeah, that is Peter Tosh giving him opinion about the connection and being just harmony and not getting to sing some of the songs them that he would have liked singing at the group. Very, very interesting argument. He also say from Island coming at the picture, things kind of get a different way too. Serious thing. This is the Cutting Edge on RFM. Flip rolling and flip rolling between current event, American current event, and what we have here, Peter Tosh. So I remind you that Saturday is a big concert right on Trafalgar Road, so yeah, them call it now Peter Tosh Square in a Pulse headquarters. Peter Tosh tribute concert. We will be there. We'll play the next documentary. We're going to take requests for Peter Tosh song. So any Peter Tosh song where you want to hear until 2 o'clock, you can call and tell the operator. But we're going to play a documentary before we start take them requests there. You understand? And the documentary is again by Hilary Clinton. Peter Tosh sings, Judge must guide him from him friends because him know him enemies. Guide me from my friend because I know my enemy already. I know what my enemies will do. But I don't know what my friend them will do. So he might beg you to guide him. Divine intervention, him look. Anyway, this is the cutting edge. And I refer, as we say, we have two things that go on the cutting edge tonight. Peter Tosh tribute and some clips where we collect about Hilary. You understand? Because we hear people that talk about the lesser of the two evils. I don't know where black people get mixed up in them talking about lesser of two evils. That's why the man said, Farrakhan was talking a while ago, say, information, you must vote with information. Better you have information all the while. So, I want you to listen to this.
The world is too small, our wisdom too limited, our time here too short to waste any more of it in winning fleeting victories at other people's expense.
The Clinton Global Initiative, which brings philanthropists and CEOs together with nonprofits to make concrete commitments aimed at some of the world's toughest problems. Almost 10 years in, they have leveraged billions of dollars in assistance in more than 180 countries.
CGI was designed to tackle big global challenges in bite-sized pieces with the conviction that regardless of size or scope, our problems will yield to concerted action and innovative partnerships of individuals, NGOs, businesses, and governments. We have to now find a way to triumph together.
All the problems that we face, from climate change to financial contagion to nuclear proliferation, are too complex and cross-cutting for any one government or indeed for governments to solve alone.
Because we believe that ending hunger is not only possible, but it is both a moral and strategic imperative.
Hillary Clinton is trying to shift the spotlight to global warming, the presidential contender unveiling her plans to combat climate change.
Together with innovative partners from the public and private sectors, we're working to make homes, universities, and cities more energy efficient.
We share a common future, and we are here to find common ground. Women must be empowered.
It's classic Bill Clinton, by using his birthday to help the causes he champions, from combating climate change to obesity and even HIV/AIDS.
Help bring new dignity and respect to women and girls all over the world. And in so doing, bring new strength and stability to families as well.
We are trying to do something no one has ever done before.
A new report today claims that the Clinton Foundation gives about 10% of its money that it raises to actual charities and the services that they offer.
It has been reported you've made $5 million making speeches. The president's made more than $100 million.
Well, if you have no reason to remember, but we came out of the White House not only dead broke, but in debt.
6 years ago, Hillary Clinton was about to become Secretary of State. Barack Obama had nominated her. Everyone knew she was going to be confirmed by the Senate, going to be confirmed easily. But there was a thought, there was a question, there was a doubt out there about a potential conflict of interest.
The Clinton Foundation dropping its self-imposed ban on collecting funds from foreign governments and entities. And now the Washington Post reports total contributions to that foundation amount to $2 billion.
There's a lot of money sloshing around. Everything is blurred, and it's not good.
The questions scream out at me. What in the world happened with the foundation and these ulterior motives and this money and the email server? I'm sorry. Those scream out at me.
The amount of schmoozing involved and crossing lines and one person putting money in a foundation and then Clinton getting unbelievable amounts for his speeches, contracts going one way or another, is not good.
I look forward to working with all of you, particularly the appropriators. We have a lot of work to do, and it is such important work that lies ahead.
We did this with a very simple strategy.
Not the fault of the African people. It's largely a result of the kind of system that's been perpetuated there. You have these oligarchs which dominate these countries that oftentimes have natural resources that can be very lucrative. And these oligarchs strike deals with foreign corporations or foreign governments who in effect prop them up and put them in power. And in exchange, these oligarchs give these entities access to rich mineral deposits. And the Clintons, you would expect to be opposed to this sort of thing. And that's at least what their language does.
Our countries have deepened our cooperation on many issues, including good governance and transparency, energy, regional security, and advancing peace and development in the Niger Delta.
The problem is their words are different from their actions.
Rwanda has clearly taken an impressive trajectory of development, and the people here still think Kagame is the man to take them to another level.
President Paul Kagame has walked all around the crowd, thanking the people for electing him unopposed as chairman of the RPF or president of the RPF for another 7-year term.
But his critics say that far from entrenching democracy in Rwanda, he's actually eroding it by silencing his opposition.
Paul Kagame has been praised by Bill Clinton and the Clinton Foundation. But the fact of the matter is Paul Kagame has a terrible human rights record. He's accused of aiding military operations in the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo, and that actually forced the recruitment of child soldiers. The UN has identified him as being involved in activities that entailed massive human rights violations.
The newer opposition parties that have been formed in the last year or two have one by one been silenced or otherwise excluded from the race. And individuals, not only politicians, but even journalists, for example, and other Rwandans who may have views different from those of the government, have found themselves at the receiving end of what has become quite a violent campaign of intimidation.
Well, Paul Kagame is a friend of Bill Clinton's.
I want to say a special word of appreciation for the leadership of President Kagame.
I'm greatly humbled to receive this Clinton Global Citizen Award.
He's actually given awards by Bill Clinton for his conduct as the leader of that country, and they regale him as a great military leader. This is the sort of legitimization that we don't want of these kinds of dictators and leaders. That's the kind of legitimization that the Clintons have engaged in. And they've done it in a way that creates commercial opportunities for donors and friends and allies who want to do business in Africa. Business in Africa means you're dealing with dictators who are going to give you access to, say, mineral rights or oil drilling rights, but you're going to have to pay them off. The Clintons partner with foreign entities who want access to Africa, and specifically mining companies or energy companies who need to get concessions for access to oil or natural gas or the rights to mine for gold. Those two make a powerful alliance because these companies will give money to the Clintons, either in the form of speaking fees or in the form of donations to the Clinton Foundation. And the Clintons will then, in effect, do their bidding before the halls of power and corridors of power in Africa. And they will go to foreign governments and encourage them to do business with individuals who are putting money in their pocket. And this leads to some amazing fits of behavior that, in a way, are just reminiscent of 19th century colonialism.
A perfect example of this is Ambassador Joe Wilson. Joe Wilson is a longtime friend of the Clintons. In fact, he endorsed Hillary Clinton in the 2008 presidential election. And it was also thought that he might become a senior official in Hillary Clinton's State Department. But the fact of the matter is Joe Wilson was up to something far more nefarious during Hillary Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State. In 2009, shortly after she became Secretary of State, when Wilson was the vice chairman of a company called Jarch Capital, they took out a 50-year lease on 400,000 hectares in South Sudan. South Sudan was in the middle of a civil war, and this lease was actually signed with warlords who were involved in the Civil War. These individuals who were engaged in massive human rights violations, including the massacre of opponent tribes. And basically what Joe Wilson was engaged in was something called investing in sovereignty changes. They were basically cutting deals, lucrative deals, worth potentially hundreds of millions of dollars with these warlords. And the expectation was simple. These warlords would take power, then they would give them access to these lands where they could make huge amounts of money exploring for natural gas, exploring for oil, and for mineral rights. Ambassador Joe Wilson isn't the only Clinton friend and foundation donor who was working in war-torn countries. Swedish mining investor Lucas Lundin has pledged $100 million to the Clinton Foundation. He did that in 2007. And his most lucrative mining operations are in the war-torn country of the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is a country that perhaps has the most horrific human rights situation on the face of the earth. By the time Lucas Lundin made his $100 million pledge to the Clinton Foundation, his Congo operation was making, quote, staggering profits, end quote, according to his own financial statements. His overall capitalization was $20 billion. But for those profits to remain staggering, U.S. policy under Hillary Clinton had to remain unchanged. That's the problem. Hillary Clinton, as a senator back in 2006, supported something called the Congo Relief, Security, and Democracy Promotion Act. As the law's name implied, the goal was to bring reform to Congo. That's not something that Lucas Lundin would want. So in 2009, when Hillary became Secretary of State, she reversed course 180 degrees and went from supporting reform in Congo to supporting the status quo, which is exactly what Lucas Lundin would want, who of course had committed $100 million to the Clinton Foundation. But Congo isn't the only scandal-plagued country where Clinton benefactors have made millions.
Africa's most populous nation, Nigeria, is full of promise, but fulfilling that promise is sometimes a struggle. Plagued by corruption and mismanagement, the resource-rich country has a poverty rate of over 50%.
Look at a country like Nigeria, which is really a cesspool of corruption. In fact, people will say it is perhaps the most corrupt country in the world. It's rich in natural resources, it produces a lot of oil, but that money never trickles down to the people. It goes to the oligarchs who run the country, who oftentimes take that money and put it in Swiss bank accounts in a way that, of course, the people of Nigeria can never benefit from. And you see, there's a federal law in the United States which says if foreign governments that receive U.S. assistance aren't transparent in how they spend that money, that they will not be able to get U.S. foreign assistance anymore. It's about transparency. But there's a way around that law. You can get a waiver from that law. How? By getting the U.S. Secretary of State to grant you a waiver.
We intend to remain very supportive on your reform efforts. Thank you for mentioning the work we did together in the elections. We're also very supportive of the anti-corruption reform efforts, more transparency, and the work that you and your team is also championing, because we really believe that the future for Nigeria is limitless.
So in the case of Nigeria, they receive hundreds of millions of dollars in U.S. foreign assistance.
They've not made progress in being more transparent. And of course, they've gotten exemptions from Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State.
What's so curious about this is what was happening commercially to the Clintons while this was going on. Bill Clinton, for the first time ever, gets paid highly lucrative speeches in Nigeria, which had never happened before. In fact, he gets paid to do 2 speeches for $700,000 apiece by a businessman in Nigeria who just happens to be close with the president of that country. Keep in mind, by the way, that his normal speaking fee is less than $200,000 a speech. So this was an enormous payday for Bill Clinton.
Okay, now we'll begin the panel.
One of the pinnacles of power in that country is a gentleman named Gilbert Chagoury.
Gilbert Chagoury, who has committed $1 billion to the Clinton Global Initiative, is connected to another individual in the Clinton orbit. That would be Mark Rich, the billionaire who was on the FBI's 10 most wanted list that was suddenly and surprisingly pardoned by Bill Clinton in 2001. Mark Rich, you might recall, is somebody who was trading oil with the Ayatollah Khomeini of Iran at the same time that the Ayatollah was holding 50 Americans hostage. He also had a long history of busting UN sanctions by trading oil with the apartheid regime in South Africa and a whole host of other nefarious governments. Well, Gilbert Chagoury, the high Clinton donor, was business partners with Mark Rich. Together, they sopped up oil assets in Nigeria and sold them on the oil market for the benefit of a corrupt individual who was leading Nigeria at the time named General Abacha.
Abacha smuggled, by some estimates, $4 to $8 billion out of the country and put them in European bank accounts. Gilbert Chagoury was indicted and convicted in Europe for helping him to do that. He was charged for aiding and abetting a criminal enterprise and on money laundering charges. And the suffering that ends up being done here is by the people of Nigeria who see their leadership getting a pass from the United States. The elites in those countries are getting rich. The Clintons are getting rich. And the money somehow never trickles down to the people of Nigeria.
Sadly, this theme of resources not trickling down to those most in need is a common one when it comes to the Clintons.
Yes, this is the cutting edge. We know a lot of people, the first time I hear them information, you know. But we know a lot of progressive black people, African people, recognize that when you talk about lesser of 2 evils in this election in America, and we all hear people come down upon Trump, all sorts of things. I mean, him put him out in some filth all the while. But it's talk him attack. Him don't have no understanding or experience about how American government run. Him is a little businessman. We are try a thing. But this lady not talk, just talking. She have an experience, she have a history. And this is showing you some serious things. And we specially choose this part of the thing because it will deal with something where relate to we as people, especially upon the program where we are dealing with, as it relates to them involvement in Africa and them involvement in Haiti. Here we talk about it all the while. So we're going to continue.
Way headed back to Washington, D.C.
Theirs is a city in ruins, a country which can do little but wait for help to arrive.
The international community responded in the way that you would expect it to. That is, large amounts of money were committed, up to $13 billion from international relief organizations.
And of course, you had the official role of the State Department,
which would be point on U.S. taxpayer dollars going to Haiti for the purposes of relief.
I want to assure the people of Haiti that the United States is a friend, a partner, and a supporter
Hillary Clinton's State Department would oversee the reconstruction effort, with Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills responsible for the allocation of U.S. tax dollars through USAID. And Bill Clinton, already appointed Special Envoy to Haiti for the United Nations, was named co-chair of the Interim Haiti Recovery Commission, along with a former Haitian Prime Minister.
I hope it will be rebuilt in a much stronger and more sustainable way, and I think the Haitians want that.
So this was clearly a Clinton operation from the beginning. Now, the Haitians had their own ideas about how best to rebuild their country. They wanted new roads. They wanted buildings rebuilt. And that's what you would expect. This is how you recover from an earthquake. The problem is that the Clintons had their own agenda, the interests of major donors who had a vested interest in spending that money in Haiti in ways that would benefit them.
And so you immediately had this clash between the Haitians and the Clintons. And Haitians complained almost immediately that they were shut out of the decision-making process, that it was really Bill Clinton and a few of his friends that were calling the shots on the IHRC. And they made some monumentally bad decisions that not only didn't benefit the Haitian people, but ended up putting money in the pockets of major Clinton donors who had economic stakes in Haiti.
We have been united behind a single goal, making investments in this country's people and your infrastructure.
So it's a classic example of what some people call disaster capitalism. Disaster capitalism in that a natural disaster creates opportunities for rebuilding to take place, but also for self-enrichment to take place. And if you look at the Clintons and the promises that were made and the results that actually followed, it is a tragic story of crony capitalism gone awry.
The single largest relief project that the United States committed taxpayer dollars to, $124 million to be exact, was a project called Caracol, a textile factory that was built in the northern part of the country that was supposed to create some 60,000 jobs and was supposed to create tremendous economic growth.
There's a problem here already. You see, the earthquake affected the southern part of Haiti. The northern part of the country was entirely unaffected.
But who were the beneficiaries of this? Companies like Gap, Target, and Walmart, to name a few. The Caracol factory was built, but it didn't create 60,000 jobs. It created barely 5,000 jobs. But the major American companies who got textiles tariff-free, made at low wages, benefited enormously.
And the end effect on the Haitians was very, very minimal. If you look at some of the infrastructure projects that were undertaken, the Clintons had very grand plans to build large tracts of homes, and there were contractors that were selected for those projects. Sometimes the contractors had experience, sometimes they did not.
There's one company in Florida that spent $1 million getting equipment into Haiti. They had experience in disaster relief, but according to the owners of that company, they only made a small donation to the Clinton Foundation. And guess what? They didn't get any relief contracts. On the other hand, the contractors who did win the awards were given the opportunity to build homes, and in some instances were supposed to build tens of thousands of homes for Haitians. They ended up building a fraction of that. For instance, the New Settlements program was supposed to build 15,000 homes for $53 million. Instead, it built 2,600 homes, less than a quarter of the original estimate, for $90 million, or $47 million over budget.
And they got away with it.
So you had contracts going to these relief organizations that were also involved with the Clinton Global Initiative. And you had this one organization, Dahlberg, that was supposed to do an assessment for relocating people that suffered from the earthquake. They determined that people should be moved to a site that happened to be on a cliff that was highly unstable. USAID's Inspector General reviewed Dahlberg's recommendations and found them basically unusable. One member of the USAID shelter team was quoted by Rolling Stone magazine as saying that the recommendations were so bad it looked like the team never even got out of their SUVs. Another person said that only one of the people that was sent to Haiti by Dahlberg actually spoke French.
Telecom mogul Dennis O'Brien is one of the world's richest people, and he's finding opportunities in the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. The Irish billionaire is the largest private investor in Haiti through his company Digicel, and he's now leading the Clinton Global Initiative efforts down in Haiti.
Probably no one came out better in the Haitian reconstruction effort than an Irish billionaire named Dennis O'Brien. He's a Clinton Foundation donor, giving them between $5 and $10 million. He helped arrange speeches for Bill Clinton, too.
The interest of the Obama administration, particularly the former Secretary of State Hilary Clinton, all the different things that have happened to help Haiti get up off the floor have been led by the U.S.
And he was the owner of something called Digicel, which is a cell phone company at the time of the earthquake. As part of that relief effort, the State Department run by Hillary Clinton wanted to fund a mobile money transfer service that would allow Haitian citizens to transfer and receive money on their phones. Well, Digicel applied to be the recipient of that grant money. 4 weeks after their application, Digicel actually sponsored a speech for Bill Clinton in Jamaica, and they paid him $225,000. And as it turns out, within 4 months of that speech, Digicel would receive the first installment of that grant money. The earthquake actually has been great for Digicel and Dennis O'Brien.
More than 4 years since a magnitude 7.0 earthquake devastated Haiti. And outrage there is growing over the largely failed reconstruction effort, despite the hundreds of millions of dollars in aid that has been collected and spent by the IHRC, the Interim Haiti Recovery Commission.
So whether you're talking about housing or cell phones, you see that the people that are closest to the Clintons have made out very well from the Haitian earthquake. The rest of the country, the ordinary people of Haiti, not so much.
Haitian activists staged a protest outside Hillary Clinton's Manhattan office. The demonstrators claim billions of dollars were stolen through the Haiti Reconstruction Commission headed by Bill Clinton. They also say Haiti was used as a cover for foreign governments to funnel kickbacks of possibly hundreds of millions of dollars through the Clinton Foundation. They say it was done in exchange for favors that Hillary was doing for them as Secretary of State.
The tragedy is we had an opportunity to rebuild in a way that would give the people of that country hope. Sadly, that opportunity was squandered, and what took place, rather than rebuilding Haiti, was the self-enrichment by friends of the Clintons. For all of Bill Clinton's talk about building Haiti back better, the fact remains that the most visible evidence of Clinton's role in the recovery isn't the improvement of daily life for everyday Haitians, but the construction of new luxury hotels just miles from the folks who have been living in tarps USAID handed out immediately after the earthquake.
We are telling the world of the crimes that Bill and Hillary Clinton are responsible for in Haiti.
But while the world eventually lost interest in Haiti's recovery, the influence and connections afforded to donors from the Clinton Foundation appear to have been lessons learned by others. So how much do connections to the Clintons matter when you're talking about Haiti? Consider the case of gold mining. The government of Haiti had not granted a gold mining concession in 50 years. They decided to do so during the reconstruction of their country, which was being overseen by Bill and Hillary Clinton. What company did they select to get this gold mining permit? A company called VCS Mining. VCS Mining had very little experience in gold mining, but what did they have? They had connections. Shortly after they got that concession, someone joined their board of directors. It just happened to be Tony Rodham, brother of Hillary Rodham Clinton. It was a true disaster that followed the earthquake, which was the natural disaster. This was the man-made Clinton-caused disaster in relief that led to the wasting of enormous sums of money, the enrichment of elites that were friends with the Clintons, and the Haitians were left in a situation where their life was really not much better than it was the day after the earthquake happened.
An ambitious pipeline is firing off a war of opinions.
Environmental activists marched in Washington today to protest plans for the Keystone XL oil pipeline.
A $7 billion project to transport 800,000 barrels of tar sands oil a day from Canada down to the Gulf Coast.
In Washington, a showdown on the Senate floor today over the Keystone XL pipeline. The vote to approve the controversial pipe project has big political implications.
The pipeline would create 20,000 jobs, but opponents say the environmental risk is too great.
One of the touchstones of the climate change debate has been the Keystone XL pipeline. It's designed to carry oil from Canada through the United States to refineries in Louisiana and in Texas. The environmental movement has wholeheartedly rejected this deal from the beginning because they believe that it's going to further contribute to the problems of climate change.
Pipeline. 1.
We are the people.
2.
You can't ignore us.
3.
Now, you would think that the Clintons would be opposed to the Keystone XL pipeline deal because of those concerns. And perhaps they might be, except for one or two problems, or should I say 1 or 2 million problems. You see, when Hillary Clinton became Secretary of State in late 2008, there was already an issue related to the Keystone XL pipeline sitting on her desk. She was going to have to sign an environmental and economic impact statement and decide whether the Keystone XL pipeline should go forward. At that precise time, Bill Clinton gets a lucrative offer of nearly $2 million to give 10 speeches in Canada for the first time ever from a company called TD Bank Investment Group. He gave the last speech in May of 2011. 3 months later, Hillary's State Department releases an environmental impact statement that was seen as largely supportive of the Keystone XL pipeline in a way that was massively controversial. Hillary Clinton, in effect, was betraying the environmental movement by greenlighting this deal, when she had in her hands the power to kill this deal in its crib. It was shocking. Organizations like Greenpeace and Friends of the Earth were stunned. They wanted investigations, but everybody was mystified. Nobody could understand why Hillary Clinton would sign off on this deal, particularly when she had been in favor of dealing with climate change, and her boss, Barack Obama, by all indications, seemed to be opposed to this deal as well.
It's also a time for a new approach to climate change. We know we've got to deal with global warming. We're seeing the effects of it. We need to invest in clean energy technology today so that we can create new high-paying jobs to protect our environment, to grow our economy, and to finally break our addiction to foreign oil.
How did we go from the Clintons being in favor of fighting climate change and dealing with fossil fuel dependence to Hillary Clinton signing off on the Keystone XL pipeline? The evidence that we found was that it was about the money. This was not a philosophical change. This was not a new way of thinking about global warming. This was a way of taking $2 million in cash to essentially buy a decision by the Secretary of State. Why is the TD Bank Investment Group so interesting? Because they just happen to be one of the largest shareholders in the Keystone XL pipeline itself. When we looked at Bill Clinton's pattern of giving speeches, we looked at who was paying him, when they were paying him, and if they have ever paid for a speech before. What's so stunning is that TD Bank had never sponsored a speech by Bill Clinton before. And then suddenly, in late 2008, when Hillary Clinton has been announced to be the Secretary of State, and when sitting on her desk is the matter of the Keystone XL pipeline, they suddenly decide to sponsor these speeches. And when people realized that the Clintons had pocketed about $2 million at the precise time Hillary Clinton was making this decision, it all now suddenly made sense. Because as we've seen repeated over and over and over again, when it comes to the Clintons, you have to follow the money. And in the case of the Keystone XL pipeline, they seem to have abandoned their principles, their commitment, as it was, to combating global warming and dealing with our dependence on fossil fuels. They jettisoned that when $2 million showed up and suddenly came out in favor of the Keystone XL pipeline. When you see this sort of pattern of behavior, you can't come to any other conclusion that it's a system of pay to play. And again, other entities appear to have picked up on this business model too. Well, Bill Clinton has been paid enormous sums of money over the years to give speeches. On average, he gets a little less than $200,000 per speech. But something happened in late 2008.
his speaking fees skyrocketed after he'd been out of office for years. The reason was his wife had become Secretary of State. In fact, 11 of the 13 speeches for which Bill Clinton has been paid $500,000 or more occurred precisely when Hillary was the most powerful diplomat in the world.
You will never contribute to an organization that will give you a higher probability of having your good intentions turn into real positive changes in other people's lives. That will give you a better chance of what you've done here tonight.
His single biggest speech payday came from the Swedish telecom company Ericsson. And it's a very, very unusual and troubling story.
Now, Ericsson is a Swedish telecom company that in 2009 and 2010 was in trouble with Hillary Clinton's State Department because Ericsson was selling a lot of telecom equipment to Iran, to Belarus, and to other oppressive governments, about which the State Department was concerned. Ericsson risked being put on a list by the federal government in the United States for trading with an enemy state. There was actually an effort being put forward in Washington to broaden Iranian sanctions to include the very technologies that Ericsson was selling to the Iranian government. So it's against this background
that Ericsson decided now might be a good time to hire Bill Clinton to give a speech.
They had never paid for a speech by him before, and they decided to go in big, $750,000 for a single speech. 7 days after he gave that speech, Hillary's State Department came out with a statement which said, "We are not going to broaden sanctions on Iran to include technologies like telecom. We're going to rely and expect companies like Ericsson to police themselves."
It was a massive win for Ericsson. Ericsson was able to avoid having to deal with a regulatory battle in Washington, giving up contracts that were highly lucrative in these countries, and being put on a list that would create an enormous diplomatic problem for them, all because essentially they paid Bill Clinton to give a speech for $750,000.
Will you continue to give speeches?
Oh, yeah. I got to pay our bills.
So the question is, why do we see the Clintons reversing decades of policy positions that they've held so closely on issues like human rights and environment? And a big clue comes from the folks that are giving the Clinton Foundation literally tens of millions of dollars. And one, if not the biggest donor to the foundation, is a Canadian named Frank Giustra. Giustra is in the mining business, hardly something you'd call environmentally friendly. And he has interests all over the world. And he used his relationship with the Clintons to benefit those interests, regardless of the environmental concerns. A great example of this is what happened in Colombia.
What's so interesting about the relationship that the Clintons have with Frank Giustra is they tend to show up in these foreign countries together at the same time.
Frank Giustra's made billions of dollars over the years in the so-called penny stock market in Canada, which is highly open to manipulation. He's been very successful in this area. Now, the Vancouver Stock Exchange is not like the New York Stock Exchange in the United States. This is a stock market or an exchange that is dominated by penny stocks, made up of a lot of natural resources stocks. It's sort of the wild, wild west of investing.
It's called Dodge City sometimes. And the reason is because there's a lot of speculators, there's a lot of misinformation that's put around, and there are a lot of mining companies that don't really have any assets, but will proclaim to have gotten the rights to some lucrative gold mine, let's say, and then they send that news out to the public in the hope that it will lead to a flood of people buying the penny stock so the shareholders can sell their assets. So in June of 2010, Bill Clinton and Frank Giustra fly to Bogota, Colombia. And who arrives there at roughly the same time? Secretary of State Hilary Clinton.
The big thing from the news conference was where Bill and Hillary were dining the other night in Bogota. I had a chance to talk to about her dinner experience in the Zona Rosa, and here's what she had to say. Dinner was good?
It was excellent in every way.
So it was like eating in the States, but eating in Bogota.
Well, it was a real treat to be in Bogota and to be with people who love this city so much, including my husband.
Now, in her memoirs, Hillary Clinton says that this is just a happy coincidence. But when you see what follows, you realize that this is no coincidence.
The following morning, Bill Clinton has a breakfast meeting with the outgoing president of Colombia, President Uribe. Then, like a tag team, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has a noon lunch meeting with him. And she grants him several favors, including technical agreements that the Colombian government wants. In the days that follow, something dramatic happens. Frank Giustra has 3 companies that get major concessions from the Colombian government: Pacific Rubiales, Petroamerica, and Prima Colombia Properties. One of those, Prima Colombia Properties, gets a concession to cut timber in a rainforest in Colombia along the Pacific coast.
And that timber is not intended to export to the United States, but is intended for export to China. There's an outrage and upset environmentalists who realize what's going on, and eventually that permit is yanked by a future president of Colombia, but not before Frank Giustra's company is able to profit from cutting down these rainforests, which again is a behavior that runs so contrary to what the Clintons profess to be in favor of.
We all know that in order to build low-carbon economies of the future, we need sustainable forests.
I also know the future of our planet depends on healthy, standing forests.
They've talked about the problems of deforestation. They've talked about the problems of the need for successful growing forests to mitigate carbon dioxide in the air. And yet, when this commercial opportunity was presented to a major donor of theirs, they seem to be very much supportive of that and, in fact, helped to get him those concessions.
He deserves the credit for this. This was his idea, not mine, and he raised the money. And it's an astonishing achievement. My job is to make sure that it's not in vain, that he gets the return on his investment and his compassion and his commitment.
The Clintons appear to have changed their stance on issues even more significant than the environment, in ways that benefit those who have put money in their pockets.
I represent a president and a country committed to a vision of a world without nuclear weapons and to taking the concrete steps necessary that will help us get there.
The Indian nuclear deal, I think, is so troubling because this is a core national security issue.
One of the signature achievements in foreign policy for Bill Clinton was pushing the Test Ban Treaty and the Non-Proliferation Treaty.
Today in New York, the United Nations General Assembly voted overwhelmingly to adopt the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty and open it for signature later this month.
The NPT has been sort of the holy grail when it comes to nuclear disarmament, something that the Clintons have been supportive of, not just for years, but for decades.
That was all thrown asunder in 1998 when the Indian government tested
nuclear weapons underground.
India's action threatens the stability of Asia and challenges the firm international consensus to stop all nuclear testing.
These were tests that truly shocked the world. Even the CIA was not aware that these tests were about to take place. Clinton's reaction was volcanic. He felt betrayed by the Indian government. And as a result, he imposed sanctions on India, essentially saying, you're not going to get access to U.S. nuclear technology until you sign the NPT, the Non-Proliferation Treaty. In 2005, the Indian government wanted to get these sanctions lifted.
Not only do they have an interest in expanding their civilian nuclear base, they live in a neighborhood where some pretty tough customers and rivals have nuclear weapons themselves. First of all, you've got Pakistan, which is right next door, which is widely believed to have nuclear weapons. And then you have China, a longtime rival of India, which has a nuclear arsenal.
The Clintons said that they were in favor of giving the Indian government some access. But the problem is it didn't go nearly as far as the Indian government wanted. So in 2005, they started making donations to the Clinton Foundation.
This morning, yet another shady donation to the Clinton Foundation has surfaced, this time tied to a donor from India, apparently a friend of Bill Clinton.
We're talking about tens of millions of dollars from Indian interests flowing into the Clinton Foundation. And we're talking about at least hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in speeches that Bill Clinton was paid by interested parties in the Indian nuclear deal. Amar Singh, according to Clinton disclosures, has given between $1 and $5 million to the Clinton Foundation in the push to get them to support Indian access to nuclear technology.
He's a member of parliament who has gotten in fistfights on the floor of the parliament, who's been charged with bribing members of parliament to get certain pieces of legislation passed. You see, the problem is when you ask Amar Singh, he says it wasn't my money. I don't have that kind of money. I couldn't have given him that amount of money. And in fact, when you look at Indian public records, you see that Amar Singh doesn't have a net worth anything close to being able to give that amount of money. So where did the money come from?
Well, sometimes the most obvious answer is the correct one. Sant Chantwal is an Indian businessman who has been close to the Clintons for years. He pledged to raise $5 million for her 2008 presidential campaign. And Bill Clinton was at his son's wedding. They actually named him as a trustee of the Clinton Foundation. When Hillary Clinton was first running for the Senate in 2000, Sant Chantwal was in trouble with a federal agency called the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. He basically owed them millions of dollars from unpaid loans. Well, in 2000, Chantwal throws a fundraiser for Hillary Clinton, and he brings in $500,000. A few months later, with Bill Clinton still president of the United States, Sant Chantwal's case with the FDIC was abruptly settled for a mere $125,000. So basically, the federal government got pennies on the dollar. He would actually go on to plead guilty for funneling $180,000 in illegal campaign contributions to Hillary Clinton, among others. And no one seems to have made the connection. Well, maybe one reason no one made the connection is because the Clinton Foundation mysteriously erased any mention of Sant Chantwal from the website once he had admitted to his illegal activity. So here we are years later, and we've got this donation in a guy's name who swears he didn't actually make the donation. And you've got this longtime Clinton benefactor who actually gets the highest civilian award in India because of his role in changing Hillary Clinton's mind on this nuke deal.
Sant Chantwal says he's worked with everybody and even laid the foundation of the Indo-US nuclear deal.
So the Indian government says that they've given you this award for your role in pushing the Indo-US nuclear deal forward. How exactly would you describe the role you played in this?
Well, I can tell you Indian nuclear power deal. If you look at it, I'm the first one. I laid the foundation.
On the eve of the vote in 2008 to approve Indian access to U.S. civilian nuclear technology, Amar Singh, who barely knows Hillary Clinton, had a 2-hour meeting with her where they discussed the Indian nuclear deal. Amar Singh says that the dinner meeting resulted in her telling him that she was supportive of the deal and that she was making efforts to make sure that the deal did get through.
And lo and behold, by 2008, Hillary Clinton was fully in support and in favor of this policy in a way that was a complete reversal of the position that she had taken before.
In other words, the flow of money had led the Clintons to change their positions on the Non-Proliferation Treaty, and specifically India getting access to U.S. nuclear technology.
This was a decision that was wholly out of step, wholly inconsistent with a progressive liberal agenda. Hillary Clinton made a decision of reversing her previous position after the flow of funds to the Clinton Foundation, and her husband gave some speeches in India.
But this wouldn't be the last time Hillary reversed herself regarding nuclear weapons technology. Shockingly, Bill and Hillary would end up receiving money from folks that were looking to make something happen a lot closer to home.
Yeah, we're going to come forward to this. We'll just have a little piece left. Very revealing. This is the cutting edge and RFM. The table is supposed to full with all them Peter Tosh. You know, it's a couple minutes to 1 o'clock. As we say, we're going to take some calls still, you know, all we are going. 1 hour left in the program. Yeah, blessing.
Yes, sir. Good morning time.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, man. Thanks for playing my wheeler, Peter.
Which, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, I'm birthday, that's why I would have played so much.
Yes, man. Because, boy, this man was very, very, very deep.
Yeah.
Another side that a lot of us, his people, didn't have. You know, the one for me is recruiting soldiers for Jah Army.
Oh, yeah, we played that a while ago.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
A song like that tells me that the system, as it prevails on the planet right now, hearing songs like these from, well, his band was a Word, Sound and Power.
Yeah.
Because you know, Muta, right? That words of power.
Yeah, man.
Let me emphasize the P. Power.
Yeah.
Right? And a man like this would not be allowed to continue for too long, to educate and uplift his people for any length of time during his living time.
Yeah.
So, my brethren, I'm thanking him, my brethren, for bringing back this man every then and now in our presence.
We do it in terms of naming a program of a song where I'm singing on. The Stepping Razor, which is the name of the day program.
Yes. Jesus. Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not to write a song there. It's Joe Higgs write that song.
Yes.
But we did that deliberately to make him vibes live on in a program where we feel is representative of where more that it like. In our radio program, you know.
And there's a quote from you, my brethren, that every time I have certain reasoning with my friends and others, I always remember, and I say one night I would call it to ask if I'm quoting you right. You are sitting on the fence watching you or watching me.
On the wall, watch me, yeah.
Is that the right quote?
No, wall, not fence. Sit on the wall.
Wall, or watch you or watch me, right. Not the fence, because the fence can hold up a strong individual like yourself. It's a wall.
Sit on the wall, or watch me.
Yes, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Before you get on with your life and get some positivity in your life, you're watching the man who's moving ahead.
Yeah.
And come talk about barefoot and all them things. But look where the barefoot has taken you. Yeah. Over the planet. Left, right, and center. And the amount of people that are reaching out to you.
Yeah.
Virgin, for your vibes and things. But thanks again.
Yeah, man.
I will allow other people to talk. But thanks again for Peter. And I will repeat, my wheeler.
Yes. Give thanks.
Absolutely.
I'm my wheeler, man. I'm my wheeler, definitely.
I'll never forget.
I'm my wheeler.
Quickly, I'll never forget. Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, we played too, yeah.
Whoa, man.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, good night, I will allow others.
And let a Peter Tosh play, you know.
Yes, Ian Muta.
Yeah, man, Dingo, man.
Yeah, man, good. You know, thanks. You know, I'm really glad how you play my favorite wheeler, man. Peter Tosh is Stepping Razor.
Everybody's favorite. I mean, not everybody, but everybody will have think like we, a favorite wheeler.
Yes, we think like we. We know say we are African. We know say we are African and we are not nothing else other than African, you know?
Yeah. I want to tell you something, you know, as you call me and we are talking about we think like we, you know. You know, there's this tune named Get Up, Stand Up. And I look at history about it, that Peter Tosh sing the tune and say, we're sick and tired of your schism trying to go to heaven in Jesus' name. When Bob Marley joined 12 tribe, him never did want really kind of step on them can. So, theme version is sick and tired of your schism trying to go to heaven with your schism. So, he left out the Jesus.
When Peter cut out the Jesus, yes.
Because, you know, 12 tribe are some Jesus people, them.
Yes, are some Jesus people.
Yeah, so
when 12 tribe and a Rasta, Jesus people.
When Peter Tosh say, you're sick and tired of schism trying to go to heaven in Jesus' name. Because upper stadium, with this thing when we play, him say, look how long Jesus will come and he can't come. And black people, they are suffer.
Exactly.
So that sick and tired of your schism trying to go to heaven in your schism. It's funny.
Yes, exactly, because, 12 tribe with them Jesus business and a Rasta that. Rasta, I say, straight African. 12 tribe business, and thing. But I see where you and Gregory Isaacs and Bonnie Ruggs got ODs yesterday.
Yeah.
Order of distinction, on Monday, and I just want to say, Gregory, next Tuesday, the 25th, in Harrow, there will be a plaque ceremony, a blue plaque ceremony.
I hear about that.
It's going to be...
And I think they're supposed to show that June accept him OD thing in England, eh? I think...
Yes, well, it should be shown. It should be shown,
Explain the plaque thing, though. Explain the plaque.
No, what the plaque thing is that wherever famous people have lived.
Oh, yeah. I hear about it. Yes, yeah.
Yes.
They want to put up a plaque of where they live.
No, the last place here where he lived, which was in Harrow, where he passed away,
Yeah, I hear about it.
Yeah, because I was with him, at that home there, in Harrow. So a plaque is gonna be put in honor of Gregory Isaacs, the cool ruler, next Tuesday, the 25th.
Yeah.
And so next week I let you know how that goes.
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be a stage show the following Sunday, which is the 29th, if my memory serves me right.
Yeah.
With some artists performing.
Yeah.
The Saturday, the 29th, but next Tuesday is the plaque. And one of my Keystone technical classmates, Anson Curry, passed away in Florida, U.S. last Thursday, the 13th. Yes, he originally from Portland, but when he was going to Keystone Technical, he lived in Denhamtown, West Kingston, passed away.
Yeah.
We had been in touch, and so prostate cancer, Muta.
Well, I tell you, say, a 3 teacher dropped down since last week and dead. The last one was from Casey day before yesterday, yeah. One from Norman Manley School, and the next one last week. I don't know where I go on.
Yeah, man, prostate. Anson did tell me that about 2 years ago that he had it, and that, he was fighting it and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Good Kingston technical brethren. Yes, we were in touch,
Yeah, I don't remember him at all.
If you see a picture, you would remember Anson Curry.
Yeah.
Good brethren and thing. But talking also about the ODs too, we said that I'm going to compile a list of a lot of famous Jamaicans from the 50s and 60s who have been overlooked, in terms of getting ODs,
All right.
Talking like all the man Rico Rodriguez.
Yeah.
A man like Rico Rodriguez, Duke Vin.
But you can't call a whole heap of one Scatterlight Dan Drummond. I don't think Dan Drummond.
Yes, exactly. Scatterlight Dan Drummond, who taught Rico Rodriguez to play the trombone and used to lemon his trombone. A man like that. I don't think all Scatterlight is like all Lester Sterling.
Cedric Brooks.
Yes,
you
Cedric
can't call a
Brooks.
whole heap of man. You can't mean a whole heap of people can direct.
Yes, Phyllis Dillon. And Owen Gray is 77 years old.
Yeah.
And there was an application for him to get it this year, because I wrote what Owen Gray has done in the business and was not done.
So what did happen? You don't know.
No, Babsy Grange, them claim that that the list full up on that type of business. But you see, this is not a GLP thing. It's both GLP and PNP. I noticed that some people who get these things have gotten them when they just come into the music business. In the 80s, 90s, and people who lay a foundation from the 50s and 60s.
Like a stranger cool and Patsy.
And that's what I don't like.
Yeah.
Due to family connections and political favoritism and that type of thing. So, but I'm going to compile a list of people from the 50s coming straight through.
You can count hundreds of people.
Yes.
You could have gone to Jamaica. You could have gone to Jamaica.
Where you say? A good for what?
No, by the time you don't compile, you could have to just give every Jamaican a OD.
Well, so be it, because those who deserve it is not a matter of the numbers, is the contribution, because all Seymour Stereo Williams, Sam Spanish Town, greatest arms builder. So they in the 60s and
well, you know what, them never give me it because of reggae still.
No, them not give you because of reggae. Them say because of your
journalistic,
your poetic
and journalism, poetry and journalism.
Poetry and journalism.
That's why they're different. It's like a different thing, you know. It's like when them say, the commander class, that's what them call it, commander.
Yes,
class.
Commander. There are two classes, and guess what? There's the commander class, which is the highest, and then there is the lower class where them give you and Gregory and thing called the officer class.
No, them never give me officer. And that may I tell you.
They never give you officer?
No, a commander class.
Well, that's the highest then. Well, that means that the news report that I read, because the news report that I read said that you had it as that you and Gregory got the officer class. So that's why I said that.
No, man, that's commander class, them say.
Okay, because Alton Ellis got, I think, his officer class, which is the lower class. You know what I mean? And a man like Alton Ellis, you know.
Lower class because you have OJ there, which is higher than OD.
Yes, I know all of the things, order, merit, OG, etc. But I'm talking within the order of distinction, where you have the commander class, which is the highest, then the officer class, because I know all the history of that, you know. And
me just know the history. And since me up feet try, me just go find out what is what.
Go check what is what, yes. But it's a thing that I take interest in from time, you know.
Them said now it started 1969.
Yes, true. 1969 it was instituted, yes.
We never even know about it last time. We just hear it.
Same year where them did convert from the pound to dollars when it was 2 to 1, 1969.
Okay. That I was Shearer at time.
Yes, Shearer time, yes. Because Shearer was in until 1972, you know. And them thing there. And I really have to heal up all Roddy Supreme ruler of sounds and Spanish Town. The first sound to play a version, you know, Club Lulu at Spanish Town Railway Lane in the 60s. Farrakhan's on the beach, instrumental wise. Roddy's, you know, and stereo. You know, the greatest arms builder. I mean, Bonnie Lee can tell you about him. Stereo, Seymour Williams. And I want to big up this African woman, the wife, Aisha, the wife of the president of Nigeria, who say that publicly in an interview that she's not going to support her husband for the next election and thing if he doesn't do what he has to do for the people of Nigeria.
Yeah, you see, we just play a documentary about Hilary Clinton and how she used some Nigerian man to
get a lot of money for so-called lecture talk and things.
Yeah. 700. The biggest one him get was 700,000. Bill Clinton.
Yes.
Yeah. Terrible thing.
And this thing, you remember some time ago I was talking to you and tell you, say, get that book Clinton Cash. And then you played some documentary sometime after.
Me just play one a while ago with Clinton.
Yes, man. That book, people must read that book, Clinton Cash, to show you the corrupt nature of Bill and Hilary Clinton and how she get her brother to be appointed on the board of some gold mining company in Haiti.
Yeah. Radman. When name something like Radman.
Radman, yes, because her surname is Radman.
We just played that a while ago. We just played a while ago.
Yes. And the whole heap of money, man, when them collect on behalf of Haiti and other people in Haiti don't get nothing. So it's good thing that you're doing. Must be exposed. No difference between she and Trump. And she has a track record of doing bad things in Africa and in the Caribbean. That's a fact. But, you know, we just have, whichever one of them wins, we face the same racist enemy. That is the reality. No difference. And I was just reading a Malcolm X thing yesterday, you know, going over
you revising my Malcolm X thing, and Malcolm X said that a so-called African who is controlled by Europeans is of no use, but is an enemy of our people. And it just come to mind with Obama, same thing. And this is where Malcolm has said from in the 60s. But so we know all about them putting people with so-called look like us, but they're controlled by us and working in our interests. You know what I mean? And thing. But I'm really glad about the plaque thing for Gregory, you know. And you have other people, Marcus Garvey, you have plaque here. His first wife, Amy Jakes. Amy Ashwood Garvey, my mother's cousin. She has, in fact, 2 plaques where she lived in Ladbroke Grove, and they have a house where they had originally for senior citizens from the Caribbean. That's named after her. There's a plaque there. So, you know, there's that tradition. Dennis Brown, there's plaque and that type of thing, you know. So, it's all good, you know.
Yeah,
all good.
Give thanks, brethren.
All right. Blessed love.
Yeah, Muta, what may I say, you know, when it comes to this campaign thing with Hilary and Trump, people have to stop look on the candidate, them color or gender. And that's why they have to look on the people them where they're behind the campaign. We are support Hilary. And some dangerous people are support Hilary. And I see them say dangerous people them did support Obama. You understand? But
all the money got them to defend Hilary.
Alright, but people just get them things from mainstream media.
Yeah, CNN.
You understand? Yeah, them need to check up something on YouTube and WikiLeaks and them things, and then we see what really takes place.
Yeah.
And she say, at the same to the people them too, I'll have all them hands in our politics too.
Yeah, that's true.
You understand? Because it's a world agenda, you know.
Yeah, man. One world order, new world order.
Keep the masses down and them can thief up the wealth. You understand? But just go and put all the information out there no more.
Well, I wanted to say black people don't understand that aspect because most people don't really want to search for information. They make the mainstream give them the thing based up off of them part. You know, so CNN, when you listen to CNN, you know, I hear Trump them talk about, you know. As you turn on your TV, so Trump get more advertisement on CNN than any other thing. Clinton get advertisement on Fox. The two of them have an agenda, you know. So you can't really look on them to come to a conclusion about none of them.
Yeah.
You see? So it's that thing, if you just look, like all WikiLeaks, you know. Yeah. When WikiLeaks send out some things that are there about Hilary. And them start to ball out, say the Russian them are do it just because they want to divert the people in mind from where in the thing. It's not who send it, you know, it's where it say. It's where it say right or wrong. That is the problem, you know. Is it right or wrong? When them say. And when them say it's right. That brother Assad said the thing right. I mean, even though where I do. You know, anyway, we have to watch
some hidden powers there behind them, you know, 2 of them, you understand?
When you say hidden powers, you mean other people?
Yeah, man, some other people, man.
Yeah, of course. All Obama
they put them up as the puppet, you know what I'm saying?
All Obama too.
Yeah, man, all of them.
Yeah.
So, as we are the people, have to start analyze and say, yo, why we need them government to govern when in idea them only, the system only benefit them.
Yeah.
And the system is supposed to protect we.
Yeah.
And them supposed to serve we, you know.
Yeah.
You understand? No disrespect to our one, but them supposed to do the betterment are we the people. So that's why I put them in the position. But to me, when them get the position, them do the position to benefit themselves and their family and their friends.
Yeah.
You understand? And that we really are fighting.
Can't trust a politician, man. Can't trust politician. All right, we're going, brethren.
Yeah, man, give thanks.
Yeah.
Can't trust a politician. Me I listen to that tune and me I say after Rasta come and show the people them a certain way of life, holistically, it's really mind-boggling to me how me say man with locks on the head that smoke cigarette. I mean, it's one of the most mind-boggling thing I say, given what we know about cigarette. I don't understand how a man can have Rastafari in him head and on him head and I smoke a thing like cigarette.
You know, it's like, I mean, it might sound weird, but it always bother me. It always bother me when I see a man with a Rasta man and smoke a cigarette. I say, wait, where him come from? You mean, Rastafari show the people them a kind of way of life. But it was almost strange. Martin Moplano say Rastafari is the strangest people them. And after we done show the people them this way of life, and more people know, a latch on it. I see some big lax-head man with big cigarettes in their mouth that I say, you know, they must come from a different planet Rasta. Anyway, Peter Tosh say, warning. Surgeon General warned that cigarette smoking is dangerous to your health. If a man make a product and put it on the box, say it's going to kill you, and you go do it. It does keep, it does kill you. I remind people them in Birmingham, so we're going to there November the 6th. We're going to there Birmingham. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I love to Christ. Blessings in my life.
Right. Hello? You listen to your radio? Yes, yeah.
Yes, man. But I mean, I don't call this week, but...
why you never go call this week?
Congratulations in order still, so...
Yeah, man.
Congratulations upon your award.
Give thanks, man. Give thanks.
So, man, call to that, and, you know...
No, but why you say nobody go call this week?
No, man, but you know, I just not too long to start this week because I'm up on the road and I just come in.
Oh, yeah? But you miss a whole heap of things, man. You miss one documentary play about the Clintons.
You know, last week, me call last week, I want to know. I don't know, every time I call a whole heap of people, so but I don't remember what I want to talk about last week. But one thing I forget to talk to you about what they are. And before me even going to that, more ask you something. You remember our music, the rainbow, you know, the rainbow hang across the sky.
Who sing it?
I remember who sing it. I remember who sing that song, you know.
I don't know which song.
That I remember, what are you doing, man? Like, I know, I mean, like a Wayne, none of that thing is in there. I'm not trying to remember I can't remember name, but me.
I know Wayne.
I know, no, man. Long before them, the time, man.
I don't know where you're
yeah. All right. But other than that,
you forget where they were talking about, you know. Man, you have Alzheimer's, you know.
Yeah, you know, so this is me have to try.
But you're trying to get Alzheimer's.
Never to try, man.
You say, you never say something to me and then you go sidetrack yourself and go and pan and then you come back, you can't hear it.
All right, what I think, when you want to about one long time, a couple weeks ago, because you were here this time, man, when you see the same night, that's why I call you. To a few friends, you know, man. to Christian, man. I walk when I meet two of them, they come, like a kind of a Sunday, so I must be Bible meet, now they come from. And one piece of cussing, the two of them are cussing, man. But you know, so then there is nobody, then I don't know. But me here one, I rebuke the other one, I rebuke in the name of Jesus and this and that. And the next one turn on tell him and say, call on the blood of Jesus for him. And to hear the two men I go the road that rebuke and call
the two of them, and the two of them are from the same church.
Yes, what you call them, I come from in Bible, something
Bible studies,
you know. But me said, this one that, you like, well, but if the Pope, then can't do anything if I want Pope, now.
Yeah.
Curse for one and the next one to know next communicating.
Yeah.
You know, but the youth, doesn't have to, like I asked about the mainstream media. We have to remember, like, in a Russia, you know, they have one saying to East-West, right? Pravda ni East-West, East-West ni Pravda. Right? East-West, Pravda and news. Right? But they have one newspaper, one news media, one named Pravda, which means news. And the next one here is East-West. Truth. So they must say truth and no news. You know, truth is not news, and news is not truth.
News are the truth.
You know, tell you know, because I want like we have to be on the observer.
Yeah. Me understand what you're saying, man. Me understand.
But when they put it in English, though, it's like
truth and news.
And news is not truth.
Sir.
So, you know, back in the day, that was propaganda business.
Yeah, man. Still low, still how you mean? I know back in the days, CNN are propaganda and Fox News, MSNBC and all of them are propaganda.
Yeah, one back the Democrat and one back the
Republican. Yeah. And more than one back the Republic and the Democrats still, and more than one back the Democrats. The Democrats have more backing right now from the establishment than the Republicans.
Yeah. That's right. Tonight I only have to be, no?
Yeah, man. They're ready to talk about this. You miss it, man, because we don't talk about it.
Okay.
We don't talk about it, man.
I think tonight. But, you know, to me, you talk about this, and so, like the baby, they will have two mother and one father.
Two mother, one father. No,
mother, blood mother.
Me never hear about it.
The DNA from two women.
How that go? Explain
that. Because, like this person with the rich man, they can have the baby. Right? But instead of them, just pure woman and make the woman have a baby, take them man's sperm and put to the woman.
Yeah.
Then take cells from out of the woman.
And the woman and put
in
the other woman.
The husband. I say, yeah, so combine them the two cells and put in to the next surrogate now.
Oh, yeah?
So two mother line up with the genes, two mother line up with. The baby there a couple of weeks now, me about a month now. So
well, this week I see them separate two baby with giant at the head. I don't know if you see that one there. The two baby them giant at the head and them have an operation and take off the baby them two. Them still alive now still, but I don't know where to go. But that is really something else, see?
Long time that they had two. Remember when Guinness Book of World Records?
Yeah, the woman them
the two
giant at the head.
And the giant at the head.
And them are yeah, me remember that. Big woman too, big woman.
Yeah, and them are walk.
If them are go toilet, them have to go together and all of it. Yeah. You can just imagine if them have sex. One of them have sex.
Yeah, then like something about,
one of them have sex, right? And I'll lay down there and watch the other one have sex. That's serious thing.
I don't know what's up here, but it's never here, and probably feel too.
All right, sir, give thanks.
All right, yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Keep up the good work, sir. Hey, well, I got to do that. You know, talk about xylophone, I have to think about his father.
The father buried the 12th of November.
Yeah,
them are buried the 12th of November.
The call out on the U.S. station, let them play outside.
Which station? Tell me which station.
The U.S. station, man.
Them play?
Yeah, man, them play, man. Because when they call me surprised, a girl that did it. She said, yes, you know him because your daughter and xylophone are two best friends.
Okay, that's good, man.
I am them girl. And she said, yes, you know them, know the family well.
Yeah, that's good.
You know?
All right.
But then you find out how I kill him, man,
Eh?
Then you find out how I kill him?
Yeah, them say pneumonia. That's what them say.
Ooh.
Pneumonia.
Yeah.
But you know about the trees teacher them drop down there between last week and this week.
You never hear what I said a while ago.
You never hear what the KC one? Yeah, one KC teacher dropped down this week. I must say yesterday, day before yesterday, dropped down. And the next teacher, I think a Norman Manley.
1 minute left for my car, you know. I don't know what I'm supposed to have $1,500 for my phone, digital, you know, this was on digital now.
All right, sir, go on, give thanks, yeah?
All right.
Yeah. I want to give thanks to Tracy. Matrix there near the house, you know. Yes, I want to give thanks to me hungry. Interspersing the Peter Tosh shirt there with some talk. Farrakhan talking about Hilary Clinton and Obama. And then we did exposing Hilary Clinton and her foundation, she and her husband, and the effects it have worldwide. Some things where them people them must investigate before them start to talk and run up their mouth because them listen to CNN every day. Sometimes when I hear some people talk And I said, but wait, are the exact thing them just upon CNN? Why them attack like I feel them words? You know, it's like, yeah, you know, I don't feel them words and them attack it like the exact thing what CNN just said. I mean, it's one thing for talk the exact thing, you know, but did you really investigate what you hear from a next source and then put it together and say if 1 and 1 equal really 2? It's a weird thing. Weird. Yeah, you know, Vivian, you know, the operator. Hey, Vivian. I know you don't like me, but I still going to yell you up.